Welcome back. I'm in Jamaica. It's Miss Coconut Conjurer. Listen, I'm reading the most fascinating book by Miss Zora Neale Hurston, and it recounts her journeys to Jamaica to study the spiritual practices there. And so apparently she decided that she wanted to go around America and collect the folklore of African spirituality, and that led her to Jamaica and Haiti. But today I'm going to talk about her trip to Jamaica. It occurred about 1936, and she arrived as an anthropologist and a folklorist, ready to take on this big looming subject of Jamaican spiritual practices. But can you imagine a black woman at that time traveling to such a exotic location full of intrigue and mystery to further her studies? I'm just amazed at her bravado. So she actually was initiated in New Orleans voodoo before she came to Jamaica. So she came to Jamaica and she studied lots of things. She did have some guides that took her around. And as I'm reading and I'm asking Akiva, this is how I'm verifying the information that she was given. So she was taken to like Pocomania services, which is like a religious service mixed with a little bit of Obeah in it. And it's like church almost, like Pentecostal or something, but with a little more oomph. She went to the balm yards. A balm yard is basically where the spiritual workers or the Obeah men now would give you baths and medicines and potions to get yourself together, get those hexes and curses off of you, or if someone Obeah you, this is where you would go. She went to Maroon Village. She had dinner with them, the famous roasted wild pig. She met a medicine man. And she was astounded by the power that the local medicine men and the spiritual workers had. Like in one account, she is telling how the medicine man stopped the frogs from croaking just by a wave of his hand and an utterance. She learned which plants could heal and which were poisonous and which plants had the antidote. She learned about duppies, right? Which is the spirit that comes out of one once you have transition into the next realm. She went to the graveyard and she was taught different secrets about how to call forth the spirits and how to restrain them. And she's in this book giving a lot of insight, information on what occurs in the graveyard. She was invited to a 9-night service, and she's instructing her recount is how you would keep a body or spirit or the duppy down in the grave during this process. And she's giving such vivid description that could only come from someone that is viewing this information. And so it's like a travelogue in her book, but you also understand that she's living these experiences. She's not just getting this information secondhand. She went to Kumina, which you've heard me talk about, and she saw the spirit move and she saw things manifest. She witnessed these sacrifices, and then she did eventually pull a little bit away from the spiritual practice and started talking about the landscapes and the botany of this beautiful land and the people and the traditions. But honey, let me tell you, when I read the book, even though it is fascinating and she gives a little bit of, spiritual tips, nothing that the regular person or the lay person, of course, would use. But what I thought was interesting is that she doesn't really mention Obeah a lot. She doesn't go into like the spiritual heart of the matter of Obeah. And you have to imagine back then, this is also when Obeah was such a forbidden word. I would think that she would want to talk or try to uncover a little bit more on that subject. I also noticed she doesn't talk about the mermaids. The mermaid is big in Jamaica. And you can meet someone that's 5 to someone that's 95, and they all have stories of the mermaid. And mermaid worship is very big here. And again, I didn't really see this listed in her book. Now, let me tell you, there are rumors that she was chastised about disclosing secrets, and that this is why in her account she kind of glosses over. For example, I noticed she has a book called Bohemian Obeah, where she gives you rituals. I thought that was interesting, and now it makes me think that the rumors could be true, that they did not want her giving out these secrets. And I haven't been able to follow up, but I did see several accounts that say that she was kind of ran out of Jamaica. I don't know. Anyway, I love her book. I am so thankful that she shared this knowledge with us. And it's 2018. Obeah is still illegal. A lot of the country is very divided because they look at Obeah not as a spiritual tradition and practice to be revered, but they fear it and ostracize the workers. In fact, many of them are still working in secret. And you will see a lot of people that go to church. They're very religious. They're Christian based. But they come to the Obeah worker, the man or the woman, behind the scenes to consult with them for their services. Very interesting there. But there are 2 plants that she did share with us, and I happened to find these plants in the yard here, so I thought I would share it with you. One is Shamamaka, or Touch Me Not, or Shame Me plant. And this plant is amazing because when you touch it, it actually responds to the stimuli and it will close itself up. You will see this in a lot of hoodoo work as well, or other spiritual practices, believe it or not, like in Santeria and things like that, as a great plant to work with when you want to shame someone. For example, if someone has done something to you and you want to publicly reprimand them, you would use this plant. It's also great to use in your spiritual baths to annul your hexes or curses that may be upon your life, and great to win lawsuits as well. I'm not going to show you how, I'm just going to give you that information. And you can follow up if you need to. The second plant is broomweed. And 2 things. A lot of Jamaicans would sweep their yard with this, but a lot of Jamaicans also call this devil's broomweed because you would sweep this through your yard in case you felt that someone was trying to obey you. It's a real big thing here. Yeah? So broomweed is also great to detect liars. You would take 2 pieces of the broomweed, dip it in lye water, and say certain passwords and touch each side of the person's neck with 2 pieces of the broomweed. And if the broomweed would start to curl around the neck, then you would know that you have found the thief or the liar. I love that. So those are the 2 plants that I have here. Shamameka or Shame plant. This is great for asthma, indigestion, colds, flu. You can use the roots, the flower, the head, and the leaves of the plant. And the broomweed is great to strengthen your heart and lower your blood pressure. Before you use any herbs, make sure you consult a licensed herbologist or a licensed doctor. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'm actually going to link the information to my Obeah man at the end of my video, in case you would like to do your own consultation anonymously. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, Om Shrim Brezi.